What's up, guys? Leon here, and today I'm bringing you some different content. So, a lot of you guys know I love to travel and learn about new things, and obviously, I love to play Smash Bros. So, sometimes I find myself thinking about Smash Bros. Scenes from other countries. One scene in particular got me pretty interested lately, which was the Indian scene. I asked myself, for as big as India is and how populated it is, we don't really hear anything about their Smash scene. I mean, we know all about the US and Japan, EU, even Australia gets more exposure than the Indian Smash scene. So, to answer these questions, I actually set up two interviews with two of the most prestigious figures in Indian Smash, which is Qwertz, their premier TO, and Lionheart, their best player. I was actually surprised about how much I learned, not just about Smash Bros, but also gaming in general in India, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys today. So, without any further ado, let's get into the interview with Qwertz.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, it's finally nice to talk to you.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was actually really curious, was it Lionheart that contacted you, or, did you guys find out about us?
So, I was kind of just messing around in my stream, and we were looking at Smash communities from other parts of the world, and we just found you guys. I was like, so India's, so populated and everything. Like, do they have a Smash scene? And then I found Lionheart and a bunch of VODs, so I was just like, I saw that, I was like, wow, I was so curious. So yeah, I got in touch with you guys.
I mean, to be fair, the scene is pretty small compared to the rest of Asia. Because, our issue that we have currently is that Nintendo doesn't actually have an official presence in India. So, we don't have a region on the eShop. So, we actually have to switch our region to the US to access the eShop.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of painful. So, because there's a EIS regulation things where imported goods get taxed, the Switch and all the games are more than what it costs in the US. So
okay,
that's kind of been a deterrent, and why we aren't as big as we should be.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that, and I know a lot of people here don't know that at all. So yeah, we could definitely talk about that. You could introduce yourself, tell us a bit about you and what you like to do, and we'll start off with that.
Okay, so I'm actually a design student.
Okay.
And I've been playing Smash since Smash 64, since I was a little kid. And I was actually I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and I moved to India during elementary school. So the thing was Smash 64 was really popular back then. So we got an N64, which is how I kind of grew up with Nintendo. I actually got into competitive Smash in 2015 because of the Melee documentary.
Okay.
Well, it was partly because of the Melee documentary, and also because of this one brawl match, which was Mewtwo King versus Salem.
That was Apex.
Apex
right?
2015.
Yeah.
So an interesting fact is that we actually moved on from a Melee scene to an Ultimate scene. We never had a Brawl or Smash Bros. Community here.
Right.
In the beginning of 2018, we actually had a Dreamhack in India. And that's when I contacted Alex Dubailey, and we managed to put in Smash Ultimate at Dreamhack. So because of that, we got a lot of exposure, and then the community grew for Ultimate.
That's actually really cool, because I know that they've done Dreamhacks all over the place. I did not know that there was ever a Dreamhack India. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I think a lot of people in third world countries are kind of missing out because there's no Nintendo presence. I can push the Super Smash Bros. I can push the game because I have experienced it, and part of that is because I lived outside of India. But for a lot of people, they don't get that, and I'm just trying my best. My first goal is to grow Smash in this country, but my second goal is also to hopefully get Nintendo to notice that we actually have a community that exists, and hopefully sell games over here.
Why is it that a place like Japan, that's so much smaller, has a more vibrant Smash scene, or even Australia, that's so isolated? Like Australia Smash scene, it's not as big, but like we still know a lot of Australian players. They still travel here a lot. So I was wondering why India is not the same as that. You know?
So I tell you, like the reason is like for third world countries and especially India is the general population is not pretty, like most people are poor. So the gaming market is majorly mobile phones.
Okay.
And like I'd say 90% of the whatever gaming happens here is all mobile games. Like it'll be a PUBG
Wow.
or
Okay.
like COD Mobile.
So yeah, like Qwertz said, most of the gaming that goes on in India is actually mobile gaming, simply because it's more accessible than console gaming. India is a developing country, so it's a lot harder for the average person to get their hands on these expensive consoles. That doesn't mean that there aren't consoles there. I mean, Sony and Microsoft are both in India, with Sony having a huge stake in the console market. Microsoft not so much, but Nintendo is essentially non-existent there. That doesn't mean people don't love Nintendo in India. Actually, one of the most popular mobile games in India is Pokemon Unite, which goes to show that there are a lot of Nintendo gamers out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big Pokemon Unite is in the States.
Pokemon Unite, a lot of people like it. I'm not too familiar with the competitive scene for it at all, but that is really interesting though that it's actually bigger than Smash in India.
Yeah, it's huge here. Actually, I heard that currently India has more Pokemon Unite players than Dota players.
Wow.
And the thing is, like this is Pokemon. It's a Nintendo IP, and from what I've heard, like Pokemon games don't really do as well in India because you require like a console, and that goes in the money aspect of it.
Right.
But from what I've seen, the anime is so big here that they actually have an official Hindi dub of the anime, and Pokemon has an Indian side.
That's pretty cool.
So I've been trying to push towards that angle with Pokemon Unite and hopefully get Nintendo to notice us at least through Pokemon Unite, because Pokemon might not be big in the games aspect of it in India, but the merchandising is huge here. And if they at least like realize that there's a big market for Pokemon here, then hopefully they'll like expand to more games and a lot more people will get into it. But the thing with Nintendo specifically is like a lot of people don't know, but I was telling you about how Nintendo has zero presence in India, right?
Right.
They actually tested the NES back in the 90s with an external manufacturer called Samurai, and they pushed out the NES in India to like test waters. But because of the high rate of piracy, I think there was like a lot of bootleg ROMs. Nintendo decided to stop selling the new consoles here.
So yeah, that's basically it. Nintendo did make a foray into the console market there, but with the rise of bootleg systems that were just much more accessible than anything Nintendo sold, they were pretty much forced to pull out, and they never looked back. Now, the benefit of these systems is that they were able to run retro Nintendo games like Mario and Pokemon, so a lot of people in the country actually did experience these games. So what that means is there's an untold number of nostalgic Nintendo fans in the country that honestly could be a potential market in the future.
I mean, I could tell you that piracy in third world countries is gonna be huge, because a lot of people don't have the money.
Yeah, and it makes sense. They want to play the games, and you can't really shell out all that much money for it. So, I mean, yeah, people here pirate even with money. So,
yeah, like for example, like all the locals that I do, like I try my best to ensure that there's no venue fee, because I do want everyone to participate. And I've seen like venue fees at locals in the US that go up to $30, $40.
yeah.
And like for us, that's like a whole month's worth of like savings.
Wow.
So it's tough. Like I mean, luckily we do like I try my best to get sponsors, and when we do, like it's still free entry. Like every sponsor tournament that we had, like we try to ensure that everyone can get in free, so that they can participate for free and then like secure the bag.
Yeah. So it's free entry. Do you wind up putting up your own money for a prize pool?
Like we do that sometimes, but like sometimes we just have like weeklies with no prize pool and people just come to chill.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of just for the glory a bit and just for the chilling with people and stuff. I'm curious, what's the biggest event that you've ever had in India? Like the biggest major kind of thing?
In terms of like prize pool or turnout.
Turnout.
So we're actually a very small scene. Like, um, the one tournament we had, which was ILG, it was in multiple qualifiers, and the way the qualifier system worked was the top 4 from each qualifier would get into a top 8, top 16 bracket or something. Oh, I think it's top 8 bracket. The top 2 from each would get into top 8 bracket. They're full qualifiers, and for one of the qualifiers, we had like 61 entrants.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
That is cool. And actually, I would say even their scene is a little more well known here because I knew about them a few years ago. I'd been watching their tournaments. Like, I just found out about you guys, though.
Middle Eastern players are like actually really sweaty and they're really good at the game.
Yeah.
They're just kind of lazy. I feel like they just have to do like if they travel. Like you've seen EMAS, right?
Yes, I have.
And apparently, they're like a lot of players just like him, but they just like stay in that region.
Yeah, that's what, like, always wonder how much hidden potential is there out there in this game, you know? People who don't get to travel as much or just don't care to. There's probably really good players that just don't really get the chance. But yeah, so I think that's good. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Like, I actually had a lot of fun doing this.
No worries. Just like let me know if you need any other information.
All in all, my conversation with Qwertz was really eye-opening, and honestly, I'm really thankful we had that talk because I wouldn't have known anything about the state of gaming in the country without it. So, again, really thankful for that. Outside of that, though, I really wanted to know what it was like to be a competitor in this region. So, who better to ask that to than the best player in the country, Lionheart?
Hello everyone, I am Lionheart. I am presently the rank 1 player of India and also the first Smash Bros player in India to get sponsored by an esports team. I am a computer engineer and I work in the medical technology field right now. I am also pursuing my master's. My hobbies are mostly watching movies, shows, music, mostly instrumentals, and of course Smash Bros as well.
Okay, yeah, that's super awesome. So the fact that you were the first player to get sponsored there, that's like a huge milestone. But yeah, so what was that like? What was it like for you, like climbing the ranks in India?
So I've been playing Smash Bros for 10 years now, and there was not any kind of competitive scene here for it in India. Only until few years ago, we started to grow, and I randomly Googled one day in 2018 after Smash Ultimate came out in December, and I got to know that Dreamhack Mumbai was happening in December of 2018, but unfortunately I had my engineering exams back then of final year, so I couldn't really go. So that was actually the first Smash Ultimate tournament in India, and after I couldn't attend it, I just kept tabs about the scene, and I was like waiting for another chance. And thankfully, after 3 days of my final semester exams, there was a tournament in Bangalore City called Proving Grounds 2, and that happened in May of 2019. Now, this was the first time I ever played Smash offline, so I had only really played online all these years, as Nintendo is not the biggest in India compared to Sony or Microsoft or even the mobile games. So I had no idea that there was a growing scene, and I didn't know what kind of opponents I would face. So I mostly just had been playing in my own bubble. I was not expecting to win, but I won my first ever Smash tournament that I ever participated in. So, yeah, that was quite insane.
Yeah, it turns out you're just better than everyone there. Like you're just naturally really good at the, especially since you went in there not even expecting to win or knowing what to expect, and then you just won. That's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I would say that you definitely have the skill there.
Yeah, I really had no idea who I was going to play, or like what kind of players I was going to go up against, or what characters they would use. So it was really a wild experience for me.
Right. So that's actually a good way to get to the next thing I wanted to ask. I forgot to ask this to Qwertz, but are the other good players in your region? Like, are there players that have given you a really hard time, or players that you're nervous to have to fight against? Like, a lot. Like, I have bracket demons. When I play them, it's like, oh, like I hope I can beat them this time. Like, do you have anything like that?
Uh, the second ranked player in India, Botman, he mains Joker and Inkling, and he has been my rival since the beginning. And he's really amazing and pushed me to improve my own gameplay. Another player I would like to mention is Collectra, who has taken the most games off of me in the Indian scene, and he's also an amazing friend. And he plays a bunch of characters. So I would say that those two have been the main gatekeepers and rivals for me right now here. And of course, we are growing, so there are more and more players improving and coming onto the scene, especially with the COVID thing. So a lot of people are just trying to find places where they can talk with people with similar interest, and thankfully we have grown quite a bit in the COVID.
But
Yeah.
I did definitely want to ask about that major that you went to in Singapore. Uh, like what was that experience like for you? Because so you said that when you went to that tournament, that was your first time getting on a flight, right?
Yeah.
So this your first time ever leaving the country when you went to Singapore?
Yeah, that was actually my first time traveling outside of India. So that was a very exciting and also educative experience, I would say. And I got to learn a lot of things from the players there because, as it is, we were like a growing scene. So it was really cool to play with other players from different, parts of the world. I believe there were some players from Australia as well,
Yeah.
and I think one of the Australian players actually won there. So that was really cool. And I would say that I would like to travel more internationally, but before that, I would like to improve in my own scene. And there are a lot of factors, going to some other country like COVID right now, and then sponsorships, and of course, a lot of stress because you're going out and you haven't really played anyone else there before. So yeah, that was a very cool experience for me, and I got to learn a lot of things. Honestly, I didn't think I would go outside of India at any point that time, so it was like a dream come true.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I heard that you won your trip, right? Quartz made it so that the winners of these tournaments were basically sponsored to go to this tournament, right? Like you won the trip.
Yeah, so there was this tournament called Gamecon Mumbai, and whoever won that tournament was going to get sponsored to go to Singapore for that major. So I had to win that tournament, and I was still playing Ganondorf at that time. So in the grand finals, I had to play against Collectra, like I mentioned,
Right.
and he bracket reset against me, so it was really close.
Hmm.
And he was playing Ridley. So I had to win that tournament, and I had been winning the tournaments there, but this was definitely the most, deciding factor of who, was chosen to go to Singapore.
Yeah, and that must have been. I know if I were in your position there, I would have been pretty scared. Like, it's a full ride to a different country on the line, and a Ridley resets the bracket. Like, I would be really scared, but you held strong, so that's really cool. Like, I'm glad that you were able to get that opportunity.
Yeah, that was definitely quite nerve wracking because, like I sent Quelectra to the losers bracket, and then he came up and bracket reset. So I was like, okay, what is happening here? I just beat him, and like he was playing very very good. So that was definitely nerve wracking. But then I thought, okay, I'll just play one game at a time. And Ridley, as it is, like it's very easy to edge guard Ganondorf.
Yeah.
So he was just abusing all of the things, that Ganondorf is, you know, susceptible against. So it was definitely very tough, even though I had been winning the tournaments there. Uh, like I said, a lot of things were on the line at that tournament.
Yeah, that's like a super high pressure because there's yeah, like you said, a lot on the line. So how did the reset go? What was the score at the end?
I think I beat him like 3-0 after the reset
Nice.
because I was just not trying to lose any games, because any momentum that I lost would be quite heavy, because a lot was on the line. So I believe I also finished the grand finals by like breaking the shield of Ridley and then Warlock punching him. So
What?
So I'll be real, this is actually one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard in Smash. This guy really won an overseas trip to Singapore by shield breaking into reverse Warlock punching a Ridley. Like, that's just so funny. It's so funny that that happened all the way on the other side of the world and nobody knows about it. I don't know. I just thought that was really funny and really cool too.
What do you do to improve? Like, what's your practice, and what do you think makes you just so much better than everyone there? Like, what do you think it is about you?
So for my practice, I just practice the stuff that you need for your, muscle memory. Like I try to improve my timings with two framing with Bowser, the movement and the usual stuff. And I like to practice in friendlies against different matchups, as we do have a lot of character variety here. And I would say that the one thing which really helps me, or I guess when I was starting out, really helped me, was that I always tried to adapt really fast. And I was always like composed in the last talk situation.
So do you plan to keep Ganon around, or are you gonna solo Bowser, or?
I would say that I don't really play Ganondorf that seriously now in tournaments, because as I said, like I mostly just played Smash for fun, and for me, Ganondorf was the most fun character. Even though he's really bad, I still kept using him in tournaments early on, because he's just so bad that people usually do not expect him to do well. And there was obviously the matchup unfamiliarity, but as the scene grew, obviously it's very easy to adapt to the options which Ganondorf has got. So I pretty much retired from him, but I still play him. And then I had to switch to a character like Bowser. I would say that you definitely inspired me a lot to pick up Bowser, because it was always just so fun to see you beat top players with a heavy like Bowser, and the fearless plays that you made was very inspiring to me. So Bowser is also heavy, and it just went with my playstyle, so that's why I just picked him up. So I think I will keep Bowser as my main, but still I just try to play for fun and see what other characters are fun for me. Like right now, Sephiroth is also someone who's really fun for me. So I just mostly try to find the fun, and then the things come along.
Yeah, I mean it's hard when you play. I mean you definitely know when you play big characters, like you just gotta be good at rolling with the punches all the time. But you seem like you're really good at that. You seem like you're really composed, and you're good at collecting yourself, which I think as a heavy main you need to be good at that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You need to get used to the beatings and the
Yeah.
way you can get edge guarded. So against like some characters like Pikachu, or the combo heavy characters, I just know my game will start when I'm at 80%. So I
Exactly.
just I just wait for the cutscene to be over, and then I try to play.
You're a true heavy man. And I mean, yeah, like at that point, the combos aren't really working that well anymore, and you have rage. So, but
Yeah, it's time for them to be, be a little bit scared of a heavy at that point.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely that you have so many people to uh, push you to improve, because there's just so much competition. You cannot just slack. Who knows who will come from any place and just start giving challenge, like MK Leo came from Mexico and suddenly he just started to win everything.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually crazy, and I think that's part of what's a little unfortunate about your scene, or even another scene like Australia. You know, they're so far away and so isolated that they don't really get to practice with anybody outside of their region. You know, so it's a little unfortunate. Meanwhile, we get all these huge tournaments where everybody's flying out, and they happen everywhere around the U.S. You know, like there's gonna be one by me next month where it's going to be Leo and all these other crazy players. So we always get that experience, but unfortunately international players don't really like different scenes, they don't really get to have that practice.
Yeah, if only the online was a bit better, but
Oh my
like
god.
traveling and everything is very expensive, and also COVID making things even harder. So
Yeah.
it's fine though. We still, live vicariously through you guys. So
That's awesome.
I'm not, I'm not too disappointed about that.
Yeah. Um so yeah, something I wanted to ask about one of the last questions. What are your plans for your future in this game? Do you still want to dominate in India, or you think could you see yourself maybe pulling back a little bit? What do you want to do going forward?
I just want to try my best, and it is a bit hard for me right now. But yeah, I will try to continue to compete in India if the time permits. Lately, I've just been focusing more on my job and my studies. So let's see what the future holds for me. But I'm just trying my best with whatever time and chances I get. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just push it more and maybe like get out to some big international event. But I mean, of course, you know, if you're not really interested in that, it is what it is. But I don't know. I just really admire your work and who you are. So I think it'd
Thank
be
you so
cool.
much. I really appreciate that coming from you. But yeah, it's really hard to, balance all the things in life.
Yeah.
Keeping up with your hobbies and then keeping up with your job, trying to improve in that, and then trying to, have higher studies, and then trying to also improve in Smash. So yeah, it definitely becomes harder, but a lot of times it is also the luck. Like if the tournaments are when, you have some exam or something, it definitely becomes hard. So I would say that luck definitely plays a big factor, I think, at least
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. I've always kind of said that about Smash. I think luck is a big part of a lot of it. Like for me competing in Smash, I was lucky to be born here and not like Australia, you know, because I it's just a better opportunity because there's so many tournaments, so many top players. So I think that is a big part of it too.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, we all have to, do the best with what we are given and what we have. So that's pretty much what I see, and I try to work my best with that. So yeah, I will definitely try and compete if again the time permits, but it's really hard for me right now. So I'm trying my best, and online, of course, even though I've played a lot online, once you play offline, you kind of see online in a different light. At
you're
least that's how it was for me.
you are so right about that, and I think a lot of people are gonna like relate to that because they're basically two different games, honestly. So yeah, any shout outs or anything you want to say to end off, anything like that?
I would like to shout out my entire Smash Bros. India scene and Qwertz, the founder of it, for relentlessly working towards improving the Smash scene in India. I would also like to thank my parents for supporting me throughout my Smash journey, because this is still a very new thing in our country. And I would also like to thank you for this interview. It was wonderful that I got to talk to you. The person who really made me pick Bowser and made me, learn so many different things about him and improve my gameplay. So this was a very cool experience for me. So thank you so much, Leon.
Hey, likewise. I had a lot of fun talking to you. I've learned a lot. I love what you do and have a lot of respect for you. So yeah, it was an honor to be able to talk to you and to do this.
So there you have it. That concludes the India Smash little documentary thing I made here. This was actually a lot of fun to make because I learned so much about a country and a gaming scene that honestly I don't think I ever would have known if I didn't set out to make this video. So shout outs to Qwertz, shout outs to Lionheart. It was a great time. Good to have them on. And yeah, anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know if you guys like this content. If you do, I could do more. I could do a series out of this. I don't know. But anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, share the video, and let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.